Big Kel
Big Kel
and Kahuna
and Kahuna
podcast.
podcast. Mwah. For sure. Wow, Johnny, wow, Johnny.
The lifeguard saved the drowning hippie because he was too far out.
So there's this girl on Instagram.
What do you call
Yeah, dad jokes. Yeah, they make fun of her ass.
Oh, do you know her They don't make fun of her.
Oh, I thought somebody did.
No, they comment like, "So funny, Neve, deflower me. Hilarious, Neve. Now cook various parts of my body in the air
But
fryer.
that's not destroying her?
Now drink these gallons of water and meet me in the restroom. I'll be wearing the snorkel and a raincoat." She leaned into it though, so
Oh, yeah.
it's all good fun. It's not malicious or malignant or anything.
No.
But the people that
We need to
disable
start-
comments, they get real shit from people.
We need to start, like when people say stupid comments, go, yeah, I never would have thought of that.
Well, you want to...
We ought to start instigating people on when they say stupid shit. Or even if they say good stuff, say, hey, thanks, we appreciate
So if you
that.
want to know stupid shit a good cohort of people believe, have you ever heard of the phenomenon gang stalking? When schizophrenic people think they're being stalked by
Yeah.
pedestrians. And they post these videos on Instagram, and the top comment nowadays is always, give this man an unregistered firearm. Or
Right.
they're like, they're in the walls, and they reply to the comments.
I got
That's
it.
not funny. They were in the walls. I had to remove all their listening devices.
All right, let's start it. Ready?
Well, we've already started
Oh,
it.
okay.
Unless my talk about gang stalking wasn't appealing to
Yeah,
you.
we're on. Okay, welcome. That's what I was thinking. I was waiting for you to start it. I gotta turn this off.
It
All
has
right.
been on for like 5 minutes, though.
Welcome to episode 26 of Big Kel.
And Big Nutsack.
All right, Kahuna. I'm Kelly.
And I'm
he's
Alec.
Alec. So today is June 14th, one day after Friday the 13th. Aside from Iran getting obliterated and a bunch of people picking up felony charges, I don't think too much happened.
You were talking to me, so the LA riots, you were talking to me about the horseback cops
Yeah.
beating
you
the
see
heck
that?
out of people with batons.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I have.
Now,
I saw this one guy. They shoot the tear gas canisters.
yeah, his nut blew up.
He went to kick one away, and then he like walked away a little bit, and then they nail him right in the nuts with a second one.
They had a guy, dumbass. He puts it on Instagram that he's in the hospital getting ready to have surgery because he took one of them blue pellet, like badminton size projectiles
Yeah.
in his nut, and it blew up his nut. So he's got to get.
You think he'll ever protest again?
Yeah. So here's the funny.
He's still
thing.
got one nut left to give.
So in Florida, that's why you gotta love DeSantis and those Florida sheriffs.
Ron DeSanctimonious.
They said if
they offered their help, right?
They said if in an unrest like what's going on, if it so happens in Florida,
We're gonna shoot you.
and you're in a vehicle, and the people swarm your vehicle,
You can shoot
he
them?
said in Florida you're allowed to drive away, and if you run them over, you run them over. You will not be prosecuted.
Did you see that one clip? They were saying ICE ran a dude over, but he was on their hood backstepping for 20 feet and then falls backwards. Doesn't even get run over. The car reverses and
man.
leaves.
So that is the number one thing that I'm enjoying.
And they're calling these
right
ICE
now.
agents Nazis.
about
And there's
this.
black and Mexican dudes doing it.
This is the number one thing I enjoy about what's going on now.
And women doing it.
These blue states. Oh, of course, it went in Austin, but Austin's like blue and red.
Austin's a blue city and a red
but,
state.
but the part I'm trying to make is these cops have been given the ability to defend themselves,
Carte blanche.
and they've given the ability to strike back. So, when people come up and push on them, I've seen them with shields and sticks and batons knocking them backwards.
That would be fun to do
So,
that.
Now, here's the funny thing.
Who do you think, real quick, you've seen the movie Role Models. You know when they all LARP, like Fireball. Would they win or would cops in riot gear win?
What are you talking about?
If like the LARPing crew went against
Alec,
a
they're
bunch
LARPers. They're not even real people.
Well, what were you going to say?
You interrupted me, so
We
I
were
lost
talking
my
about the
train of thought.
rioters. You said how cops now can fight back. They're pushing people with their shields and hitting people.
There was something else I wanted to hit on, but when you step on me, I
Well,
lose
when
my
I
train
step
of
on you.
thought.
What do you think about the fact that cops can't be sued on an individual level? Only the department that employs them
No, they could be named in a civil suit.
after the fact.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, Derek Chauvin and them. Can you? I guess you could prosecute that because the same shit happened with Rodney King riots.
You could.
So that
You
makes
could.
sense.
Now, one of the things I find funny is that these guys are getting what they deserve, these knuckleheads, and they're getting arrested. But
What's up
I s-
with Gavin
let
Newsom
me-
and that
hold
black
on,
woman
please,
saying it's
please.
not violent?
Can I just say it before you interrupt me again? I was just getting ready to go.
This is gonna be a quick fucking podcast if you keep doing
Yeah,
this.
well, you interrupted me the first time, and I forgot what I was going to say,
you've been
and I
drawing
started
on.
the second time. So there is something going on with the dark money that's
No shit. George Soros' foundation funds these
funding
things.
it all.
There
Funding it
are
all.
pallets of cinder blocks showing up in the middle of the night.
I know the Department of Justice and FBI will be all over this. But here's one thing that I've seen, because you get all these riot scenes that are put on Facebook. They do this in Hong Kong, and they do it somewhere in Europe. One's blue, one's red. They need to start bringing out in some of these demonstrations the fire trucks,
I
the
like
fire
that.
hoses.
I think Poland does that.
And they hit them with the fire hose. So
Full
Poland
pressure.
doesn't want anybody who's coming across the border that breaks their line
blast
in the dead
motherfuckers.
zone. But what they do differently in Indonesia and Hong Kong, Alec, is they dye the water.
Like blue, like dye packs and money, so they catch them after the fact.
Yes.
That I like that.
So all they do is all the water that comes out is like dyed blue, so the people look like Smurfs for at least a week. So you could pick them
Plenty
up.
of time.
Yeah.
It's not like you can not go about your business for a week.
So I
Someone's
think,
gonna see you.
I think we should. That should be done.
I'm blue, ba-da-dee-da. I like that.
But that'd be a good idea if you wanted to catch these guys.
Police departments have started employing this thing that they have like a little, I think it's a 20 millimeter or 40 millimeter grenade launcher that shoots this tube that's probably, I don't know why I'm doing this motion on camera. It's probably about this, like this long, about this big a ride. They shoot it into the back of the car and there's a tracker on it.
Oh, cool.
So they don't have to keep pursuing them. But I saw a video and they shot 4 and only 1 stuck.
Yeah, well, then there's a problem there. So, yeah. So Karen Bass, mayor of L.A.,
Is that black woman?
yeah, she can't be on our list because she's a woman, and we can't put Gavin Newsom on the bitch of the week because he's already been on there 3 times, and he's been honorable mention. This will be the second time.
Can't make
I
Elon
find it
or
funny that
Trump.
he lied and said he never talked to Trump, and Trump showed the record. And then he sues them to get the National Guard back because they say that they're stopping fentanyl traffic across California under his control, which isn't true. But he lost that on appeal, and they got another hearing next week on it.
Have the Marines been called in, or
Yeah,
has that
they're
just
in
been
there.
threatened?
No, they're in there.
Oh.
700 of them, but they're crowd control and
That's
security. Those guys, I saw them drilling.
I don't know.
Alec, they're not. They know what they're doing. They're hardcore guys.
They're
These
fucking.
Marine guys.
They're Marines.
Yeah, no, Marines are hardcore anyways. But this group of them, or battalion of them, or regiment, whatever they are, they've been trained for this kind of stuff.
Cool.
Crowd control, urban combat, all that shit.
I'm
Oh, and the big parades
gonna
today.
piss off. Yeah, Dan got tickets to it. Someone gave him and his wife tickets.
So is it what's the name of the parade? Because I know it's Flag Day.
I don't know.
I
He
know
just
it's the
said there's a parade
250th
today.
anniversary of the Army, and I know it's Trump's birthday too.
All 3 at the same
Same
time.
day.
That's the trifecta.
All today.
That makes me worry. There's gonna be a terrorist attack.
It could be.
I don't like.
Well, it's the protest kings today.
So this is part of the reason why I don't like protests. I don't like.
The agitators.
I don't like groups propagating an idea, but I don't.
Oh, I don't give a shit about protests. I care about when the Antifa guys come in and then hijack the protest.
I don't think.
Peaceful demonstration, I'm 100% for.
Sure, that's fine.
But you start throwing shit and vandalizing shit and
they
impeding
caught that guy
traffic.
who was throwing bricks at the cop cars. He was hitting random cars too.
Yeah, well, then that's assault and battery
And then that
with a deadly
overpass.
weapon. That's 15 years.
And then that overpass.
That's 15 years.
Remember,
man.
I was trying to say that guy on Twitch, Hassan Piker.
Mhm.
He was on the 405, the street with all the people. You would think live streaming himself on the internet, you would get arrested for that. So, I don't think
out.
there's any cause worth protesting
We'll find out.
or
And then-
congregating other than Christ.
Yeah, and then you got all the. Oh, remember last week when we did the clip that Elon was like a jealous girlfriend?
Yeah,
Guess who's come back and asked for forgiveness?
I'm sure Elon did.
Oh yeah, so they'll work it out.
Did you see J.D. Vance was on Theo Vaughn's podcast when Elon tweeted that
Yeah,
thing?
you told me that last week.
I didn't say anything about Theo. I didn't know till recently, but
Oh.
J.D. Vance was on it. I said Cash Patel was on Rogan.
Oh,
At the same time,
Got
J.D. Vance was on Theo Vaughn's
got
podcast.
it.
So I don't know why our heads of our government are going on podcasts as frequently as they are.
Why? Because
I still don't like politicians.
listen, Rogan reaches over 100 million people. Who has this bigger
He's
bigger
5'6".
single reach than him?
Nobody.
Nobody. So you got to talk to him, and
So why did Kamala refuse to go on?
because Kamala
Because he
couldn't-
wouldn't do their talking points.
Because Kamala wanted to control the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted to control the set. She wanted to control the board. She wanted approval on the tape and all that other stuff.
She paid over $100,000 for that appearance on that Call Her
I know.
Daddy podcast.
I know. And Trump and those guys are like, he sits there for 3 hours off the cuff and handles himself exceptionally well.
So what
Kamala couldn't do that.
So what do you think the U.S. should do about Iran? Because I don't really
I don't think we need to do nothing
want
right
to
now.
have to go to war.
Listen. So
Trump already didn't want to support what Netanyahu was going to do. He tried
No,
to have
he
a
did.
diplomatic
No.
solution, but it fell apart the past couple days.
what Netanyahu and Israel did is what we would have done had it got to a certain point. They just got to it first. And why not?
Yeah.
Right? So I heard on a podcast that Trump gave them 60 days, right? And they were going to do negotiations. This was the 61st day. I don't know. But some of the stuff I've heard on the news is, aside from the fact that they have 1,000 short-range ICBMs that you could put a nuclear warhead on.
Who, Iran?
Yeah, that supposedly inside of 4 weeks they were ready to go live. So they only took out 6 of the 11 or 12 of these facilities. But here's the part, Alec, that's the funniest thing. Mossad's been in Iran for a long time.
Of course. Probably since before. Was the revolution in 79?
No. Please, let me finish. I'm talking about for this instance.
Okay.
Because the number 2, number 3, number 4, the military,
Uh-huh.
and the top 6 scientists were all whacked in their homes at night
By missiles?
by missiles. And if you show the pictures of the apartment, like there's been a shark bite taken out of it. So they knew exactly where to go. So that's
Well, yeah.
great intel. So the issue
Those are
is
sneaky
I'm
little
surprised Israel got in 200 planes, right? I'm surprised they haven't yet, or we haven't yet, hit all these locations where these drones and stuff are coming out of. But somebody brought something up on the news today, which was interesting. If they hit their refineries, they got no money coming in,
Mm-hmm.
which then means there'll be destabilization and a new government. But yeah,
Did you see what news channel was the one saying that Iran, I should just say it every different way, was going to activate sleeper cells in the U.S.?
oh no, supposedly they have.
You know what would be the perfect time to do that?
They would
At a parade for Donald Trump's
Sure.
birthday, Flag
Sure.
Day, and the anniversary of the military.
You can't. It's hard to secure a parade route. But
Think a Boston bombing
But-
type thing?
this might be the one parade route I think will be fine, because it's all military, and it's in heightened security. So if shit's
Even the
gonna go-
ones in the parade, you think their shit's armed? Or they got a clip that is armed
oh,
in their
no,
back
they're ready.
pocket?
They're ready to roll.
Yeah.
Now, my guess is if someone's going to be dumb enough to do something, it wouldn't be on the route. It would be on the route, but it'd be like 50 yards off to the side or something.
What's up with... Apparently people are calling for a declassification of all the files associated with that kid who shot Trump's ear.
Okay.
Because they don't believe what the FBI said, that he was a lone wolf.
They should. I'm more interested to get the rest of the files for RFK Sr. I want to see.
I wanna see MLK.
We talked about MLK.
Because
I
the
want to see
FBI
that.
definitely killed him.
I want to see that. And they're still missing stuff on JFK, and they're still missing stuff on Epstein's files. It's not done yet. But we talked last time about Epstein. They got to protect the victims. But, dude, if they had 2,000 videotapes or 10,000 hours to go through, what the fuck?
For
So
what?
here's a
For
question.
Epstein?
Yeah, so here's a question.
Do you watch it at 2 times speed or do you watch it at regular speed?
I don't know. They,
If you have to watch it.
I knew this one lady I used to
I
work
do like
with,
4 times
and
speed.
she left and went to go work for the FBI Center here in Alexandria for missing and exploited children. And she would play the trap agent. So she would be on the computer,
The decoy.
yeah, bringing people in and then, and doing interactions.
Like what Chris Hansen does.
They had to go in every week in the therapy.
Yeah.
And they usually only last a year or two, and they got to be out. I mean, they see the worst of the worst of the worst of the most innocent of people. So, yeah, that shit's gross. So that leads me to the question. Now, you would know by that definition my answer. Would you rather be on Diddy's videotapes or Epstein's list? And I mean, when I say
Epstein's
Epstein,
list because I could get money from
no,
it.
if you're
Because
on-
I'm the victim. Oh, on the
no,
list
no.
of the people who exploit the
Yeah.
children, not a child.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not doing Epstein.
No, so you're gonna have
I'd rather just rape people in Hollywood that
be
are
on- you
of
got-
age.
everybody I saw in this clip that was asked, they all go, "Oh, that's with kids."
What's
Nah,
worse,
I'll be in
rape or
Diddy's tape.
child
I'll
rape?
be in Diddy's tape.
I'm pretty sure rape is marginally better than child rape.
But the more shit comes out on that guy, man.
I haven't been following. I saw Kanye walked out after only being in there for 20 minutes one day.
Watching or as a witness?
He was watching. He was in the trial and he could only stand 20 minutes and just got up and left.
Yeah, there was some gross shit going on.
Yeah.
Habitual, as Charlie Murphy says, habitual line stepper.
Habitual line stepper is
Ooh.
the nicest way of putting it.
That's crazy.
I still think he raped Justin Bieber when he was underage.
Dude, if having sex with people 17 and younger, statutory rape.
Well, some states in America is 16. France is 15.
Yeah, it's age of consent.
France is gross.
Yeah, but age of consent in Virginia, in the U.S. is either 15 or 16.
I think
but
in Virginia it's 18.
18.
I think in 38
Yeah,
states it's
it is.
18.
It is 18. But if you take somebody under 18 across state
So
lines,
if you take someone who's
for
16
sex
where it's legal in that state,
to a state that is illegal,
no, and vice versa.
Yeah,
If you take a
you're in
16-year-old from a state where it's
Yeah.
illegal to
That's
a legal state,
trafficking.
yeah, that's child trafficking.
that's
Child
a
sex
federal
trafficking.
crime.
Yeah.
So,
With I think like a 10-year minimum.
No,
No.
no, they don't play with that stuff. Now the other part I was going to say, with all these knuckleheads that are protesting and getting paid to be out there and doing stuff,
Mm-hmm.
when the attorney general comes in and says these are aggravated charges because these are federal charges now,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because the reason they said that is L.A. district doesn't like do shoplifting.
Yeah,
or,
they let everybody out.
but they
just
changed the
process
rules,
them and let 'em
so
out.
she put all these additive stuff as federal crimes.
Hmm.
These are fucking felonies.
Some people are
these-
alleging the governor and the mayor are trying to protect these illegals from ICE.
No, they might be. The part I'm trying to make is all these people are going to be picking up felony charges, which means Second Amendment, no guns. They can't vote, and they're going to get shit job careers the rest of their
Isn't
life.
that just a cosmic irony if you're protesting something and the result of it is you're no longer able to vote on anything?
You know what? To
That's
be
why I
honest
don't
with
see
you,
a
Alec,
need to protest anything.
What I've seen in L.A., I don't think half of those people that are in the mob even vote.
I think it should just break off into an island and disappear. I've never liked California.
California's a beautiful state.
Yeah, but there
And-
are other beautiful states.
Yeah, but here's the deal. If you put a circle around Oakland and San Fran and a little bit of Santa Clara, and then you put a circle around L.A. and San Diego.
Downtown San Diego. Have you ever been?
Yeah.
It's
But hold on a second.
ridiculous.
You put a circle around that, everything else is red.
Yeah.
Everything else is red.
It's the same shit with New York.
Yeah.
It's just,
Except for maybe Monterey and Carmel might be a little bit blue. But everything else is red.
well, yeah.
So,
I don't know.
Big state.
That
Fourth,
state
fourth
has
largest economy in the world.
That state has been ruined. I know, which is
So how was that possible?
and imagine how much better it would have been if it wasn't ruined
It
by
is broke.
green climate bullshit and 100 years of liberalism.
Well, but see, this is what happens, and I'm hoping that some historian or politician or some political scientist is doing
They
research.
claim socialist works, but fucking
No,
California is a failed state.
the issue is that California is swinging way too far left,
Yes.
right? And it's got to swing back to center. Nothing too far left and nothing too far right works. It's got to come back center.
Mhm.
Oh, they fired that kid, David Hogue, who was the deputy DNC
David
guy
Hogg?
for Hogue.
Hog.
Hogg. H-O-G-G?
Yeah.
He goes by Hogg?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why everyone thinks our name is Hagen.
Yeah, I thought it was Hogue. But they fired him this week because
Okay.
he wanted to change and get the old gray hairs out.
Did I tell you the DNC is like investing $100 million into getting the my vote, like the 18 to 27-year-old male
well, they just
vote?
did a $20 million study on how to talk to men.
Well, their spokesperson. You
Oh,
talk
please.
about something because I want to show you what this person looks.
Well,
the
give me a chance to look mine up.
the spokesperson for the DNC.
Please don't tell me it's like the guy, the Hulk or something.
No,
Garofalo, he's a goofball.
Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, he's a nut job, dude.
Yeah, he was good in the Mickey 17 movie.
Is that worth watching?
Yes, especially because you have it on HBO Max. Good thing nobody's watching.
Yeah, I know. Okay, what do you got?
The spokeswoman. I can't fucking find her.
They got a spokeswoman to speak to men?
Yeah.
They're not even have a guy talk to guys?
Nope.
Well, that doesn't make any
Why
sense.
is this not showing up?
All right, well.
It's not showing up, but she was a really fat white lady. Like, really fat. Like, if Honey Boo Boo was 32.
So they got some fat white
And she's
chick.
saying all the jargon like Riz and Skibbity and shit. It's ridiculous.
Some fat old white chick?
Well, yeah, they're so out of touch, and they don't realize it doesn't matter how much money they spend or who they employ. White young men aren't going to vote for liberal policies because they're at the expense of white young men.
Unless they're
Across the
unless
board.
they're super bad.
Unless they're trying to be feminists.
Yeah.
And
But the other
if you're
part
a
is,
male feminist and you're not pretending just to get poon, you got a different issue going on.
No, I got that. But the other issue is, Alec, is young males. I don't care what color you are or what race you are. I'm saying 18 to 28. I think the Democratic Party, today's Democratic Party, is going to have a hard time grabbing and retaining those guys for one simple reason. They don't get fuck all done. The Republicans are getting shit done, and you know where they're coming from and what they stand for. You don't tell me a Democrat that can do that. I think
Well,
that's
you'd
the
be
issue.
surprised. Even 2018, there was a lot of people, even some dudes in my frat, who were like socialists and supported like
Right.
Stalin,
But isn't that great?
and then would vote for Democrats.
These guys are in a.
So there are
in
still people
UVA.
that'll vote Democrat no matter what.
Yeah, well, they're in the University of Virginia, which is not cheap,
No.
and they're socialist and communists where mommy and daddy are paying their tuition, and they don't work at all. See,
They
that's
even-
how fucked up.
They
that
don't
place
even
is.
pay their fraternal dues, and they're
Right.
acting like they support socialism.
Right, that's part of the problem with what's going on here.
It's hypocrisy.
Yeah.
These people, they all have a cause until that cause shows up at their back door, and then they're
Yeah.
like, get out of my eyesight.
So I was thinking the other day, who do you know that used to be okay and they're crazy? So Tom Cruise, Bruce Springsteen, Bob Costas, Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Hamill.
He's goofy too now?
You know Luke Skywalker?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What do he do now?
Oh, he's always been goofy. Super anti-Trump
Oh.
for like the past 6-8 years.
All right, so we were talking about people that were okay, and who did you say became goofy? Oh, you said Mark Hamill went goofy. Yeah, Bruce Springsteen's just so goofy and such a fucking liberal shit.
Oliver Anthony came out with a new album.
You know what happened to that poor fucker?
Yeah, did you hear that Scornful Woman song?
No.
Yeah,
know
so
why?
when he got, yeah, I heard it on Rogan.
He got
I saw a clip. I
He
saw
got
the whole
divorced,
thing.
and his wife took half of everything.
But she wanted more than half.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah, she
Terrible.
fucked him.
So, all right.
And you know, I was, I don't know if I want to admit this on video. Okay, so I smoked a little bit of this vape before watching that clip, because when he first blew up from that Richmond,
yeah.
north of Richmond, he called Joe Rogan asking him for advice. Because people were saying, oh, Joe, they're telling me they'll give me $7 million if I just sign this deal. And he goes, no, don't sign anything. They're trying to steal money from you. So he made him turn down all the deals. So in the back of my mind, I had to think, oh, his wife's probably pissed Joe Rogan didn't make him get a bunch of money immediately.
Yeah, well, he'll still get the deals now. And he'll get them after he's divorced, and then he'll be okay. Oh, I saw something yesterday. In 1984, with my understanding, McDonald's introduced the value meal. And they were running a special. You could get 2 Big Mac value meals. Right? So Big Mac, fries, and a Coke. Now, mediums, because you're not upgrading them yet, right?
Have you ever seen that Chinese
Hold on.
woman
You
trying
could
to
get
teach
two.
English?
You could get 2 Big Mac value menus when they were first introduced. Meals for $2.59.
Yes, that's a principle called inflation.
And today it's $26.50 for 2 super value meals.
Well, that's inflation.
That's terrible.
Yeah, well,
40 years, 10
your
times.
economy, brother.
40 years, 10 times.
Your generation's
So
economy.
what were you saying?
There's this Chinese woman who tries to teach people English on YouTube, but she doesn't pronounce it correctly. So the line is, I'll have a Coke. And she's doing the line. She goes, I'll have a cock. Cock. I'll have a cock.
Yeah. People are goofy. Oh, I heard there's going to be a new Jay and Silent Bob movie.
They're making a second Spaceballs movie.
I heard that too. I heard that too.
But they're all fucking decrepit.
Yeah. Somebody has a movie
So
that
they
I
need
saw
to pass the torch if it's going to have any shot of being good.
coming out July 13th, I think I saw it. There's some big movie coming out. But I
But
forgot.
you know nothing about it.
I forgot to write it down, so I couldn't tell you. All right, we got anything else in the news we're going to talk on? F1's today in Montreal.
Qualify.
Qual's in an hour and a half, so that we're finishing this up so we can go watch that respectively. You expect
I don't know who's
McLaren
doing-
to take 1-2?
I don't know who's doing what, so I'm not going to make any predictions.
Dude, your boy's about to catch a suspension.
Cool.
No, you're only allowed
What's
to
he
have.
doing this time?
No, I
Oh,
think
does he have points on his
driver
super
points.
license?
He's got 11 out. One more, he's got to sit for a day
For a race.
for a race.
That's funny.
I wonder how much he picked up for that little bitch exercise.
I don't remember the
week.
last person who had enough points on their super license to get banned from a race.
I'm sure he picked up a shitload last week.
There was this one Indian Formula One driver who I think he did like 80 races and crashed like 40 out of them.
Yeah.
He's the worst F1 driver of all time.
Well, they had some
Montoya? No, that can't be it.
Juan Carlos Montoya, but he wasn't that bad. Red Bull has some young blonde kid who's their development driver that they might actually give him a race.
Oh, that's what I was trying to tell you at my house. So Le Mans is going on. I told you Kevin Magnussen is on a team.
Yeah.
Antonio Giovinazzi, who raced for Alfa Romeo at one point, is on a team. Logan Sargent was going to be on a team. But apparently he just retired from racing recently.
Well, whoever this kid is, they were talking about Red Bull. They were actually
Red
contemplating.
Bull did Logan Sargent dirty.
They were actually contemplating sitting
Oh, wait,
Verstappen,
no. Sargent was on Williams.
taking the clean on his license and putting his kid in.
Oh, for the one time he gets suspended?
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense.
But they wanted to preemptively move it forward. But I would suggest you wouldn't do that.
Well, shit, we'll see what Verstappen does tomorrow. His
He-
shop may be in 2 weeks.
If he doesn't win tomorrow, he's not
Verstappen?
gonna get the drivers' championship.
No. He won't this year.
Not with one race suspension, and being as far back as he is.
Question is he capped out at 4 world championships?
No. I still think he's the best driver.
Yeah.
I just think doesn't have a good car,
His
and he
car's
doesn't
too
have a good
stiff.
teammate.
Well,
Teammates help, man.
his team is kind of imploding too.
Yeah, that too. So, Red Bull is not what
Andretti
they used to be.
isn't on that team anymore.
Yeah. And their main guy is going over to, is it Audi or Cadillac?
What main guy?
Whoever's their Max's strategy guy is going to Audi or Cadillac at the end of the season. You're like the number 3 guy in Red Bull. So we gotta look at that. All right, so we're through everything. Oh, UFC.
I saw this one video. Porsche. So Porsche isn't coming.
Oh, he might be going to Porsche.
No, Porsche. I don't think is coming to Formula One anytime soon. Just because they dominate with those prototype cars.
Oh no, we talked about this a
The
couple weeks ago.
990 Evo.
They might buy out one of the current teams.
Well, we shall see.
We shall see.
That will probably not happen until 2030.
UFC recap.
Didn't watch
Your
any
guy,
of the
your guy
first.
looked bad, man.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, he Marab took the first round easy.
And
I
Rogan
think
pronounced it Davalushi. Dwavashali.
Dravashali.
It's a s-
Lee, yeah,
Sounds like
Dravashali.
Diwali.
But I think he might have had the second round, but then he just got put on the ground and he couldn't get up. And Kayla Harrison, oh my goodness, that fight, Alec. You should watch it since I already paid for it. Just for recap, she manhandled Pena.
Oh yeah,
And then you put the two of them side by side when they were getting ready to lock up.
she a lot bigger.
Dude. Like noticeable 20, 25 pounds
She
bigger.
good enough to beat Nunes?
Oh, yeah. They stand toe to toe. She's jacked.
You think she'd be good enough
And
to
they're
beat
going to let them fight at
Cyborg?
145.
You think she would have been good enough to beat Cyborg in her
Cyborg
prime?
wasn't that good. Cyborg got rocked by
Yeah,
who?
but Chris Cyborg in her prime.
Yeah, in her prime, I don't think they would have fought. Of course,
She-
they would have had a fight at 45. Cyborg was fighting at 45 and 55.
Yeah, she was fighting 55 because
Yeah.
no one would fight her. Women couldn't get up to 55 to fight her.
Well, that's unfair. Yeah, but so Kayla,
She looked like Vanderlei.
Kayla's the one.
She looked like Vanderlei Silva.
Kayla, I guarantee
I
you,
fucking
when
love
she
Vanderlei
fought.
Silva. I don't think we've talked about him
Yeah,
yet.
hold on a second. When she fought Pena, I think she was easily 155.
Yeah.
Easy, I think she put 20 pounds back on.
Yeah, but if you're gonna fight at 155, you gotta cut to it. So you gotta walk around at like 175,
Yeah.
165.
Well, I think they're going to have that at a 145 weight for Nunez and Kayla. And if they do that, that favors Kayla.
People keep saying John Jones continues to duck Tom Aspinall.
Yeah, I heard they had a fight. Then I heard he backed out of the fight. Then I heard he retired. Then I heard they had a fight.
Seems like the only person he could beat consistently is his wife. But I'm kidding.
Well, Dana said they're going to
He's
fight.
never lost a fight, and I think that 12-6 elbow
Yeah,
disqualification
that count.
should just be expunged.
Yeah.
Shouldn't even be on his record.
They say they're going to fight in December.
Okay. Fuck.
But
That's-
Aspinall,
it's been over
Aspinall
2
should
years.
fight somebody else in the interim.
Okay.
But then if he loses, he's
But
fucked.
you're gonna have a interim fight. In the interim, you're gonna fight for your interim title and risk losing it.
Yeah, I think he wants to fight Cyril Gahn.
He would beat Cyril Gahn.
You should.
Cyril Gahn is cool and can kickbox. He's got no gas tank though.
No, he's one of, yeah, that's the problem with guys that are
The
really
big-
jacked.
Like Kimbo Slice. He had.
The
I
muscle,
love him. Phenomenal.
the muscle
no gas
eats all
tank.
your oxygen.
Yeah.
You eat at a higher rate. Even like the smaller guys that are jacked.
Yeah. Well, Demetrius Johnson.
No,
Johnson
he wasn't
wasn't
jacked. I'm talking like Paulo Costa.
Yeah.
Paulo Costa,
Yo Romeo,
Romeo, they get jacked. I mean, they get gassed in the third round.
the Soldier of God. Whatever happened to him? He kind of fell off the face.
No,
of the
he's
earth.
still doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still doing something. So, and your boy Mike Perry got a rebirth.
What did he do?
Well,
Well,
bare knuckle
he's
champ.
been the champion. Of
Yeah,
bare knuckle.
no, but he was
For
washed out of
years.
USC for a couple of years, but he's been doing that for 2
Dude,
years.
I don't think he's lost yet. He's fucked everybody up.
And that other kid, Jeremy Stevens,
Yeah, he's
the one that Connor said, "Who the fuck is that guy?"
He got washed out of UFC too. That'd be funny. He'll never do it because he's too rich. It'd be funny to see Conor McGregor fight Perry bare knuckle. He'd get his ass beat.
Yeah, well, but you know who owns the bare knuckle?
Conor McGregor. That's
Right.
why I said it'd be funny.
He's not going
part
to
owner.
fight in his own.
He's a part owner.
No, he'll get somebody else in there. All right,
I
so-
would. Apparently, I heard Nate Diaz might make a comeback.
He's old and fat.
Yeah, but I love Nate Diaz.
Yeah, but he's
He's
not.
such an underrated guy.
We talked about it before. The UFC took 3 years of his prime for weed.
Yeah, that's
which was a
also
problem.
really- that's really
But
bad.
the last fight, oh my God, he was like 15% of what he used
Well,
to
you
be.
remember when his brother Nick Diaz beat that Japanese dude with a Golden Plata while he was so high?
Yeah.
He tested after the fight. He had so much weed in his system. He had to have been fighting high.
Well, that's fine. Maybe that's why he's
Fuck,
flexible.
how was that guy's name eluding me?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Fucking
In Pride, the best Japanese guy was Sakuraba. But all right, let me go. Book chapter. Half the Man. Oh, I got a check for you for $1.12 for your half of the book last month.
Really?
Yeah, $1.12.
All right, that'll make a dent in the $3,000 you spent on this podcast.
Yeah, then we'll go from there. Chapter 13, metrics matter. So whatever you're doing, you're running, you're walking, you're sleeping. That's why I have a Whoop band. Check your metrics, and then you'll be able to use it to help dial in. Health hacks. The only thing I'll tell you is take an understanding of what ketosis does to your body. If you can do some intermittent fasting, what happens to your body in 18 hours is great. 24 is even better. 36 is fantastic. And if you can get 72, then that's, or 74 hours, that'd be even perfect.
Or just do what I did, quit drinking.
Or
for
72 hours.
Quit drinking for 2 weeks and see how it makes you feel.
Well, yeah. If
And
you
then
want
if
to,
you like how you feel in 2 weeks, give it a month. and
if
then
you want to
you'll never
reset
drink
your
again.
sleep, yeah. If you want to reset your sleep, you're gonna have to stop drinking for at least two weeks to probably a month or two.
Yeah.
But yeah, those can only help because sleep is the best thing. We've talked about that before. All right, so here we go. So we'll go to top 5 list. We got something unique. Top 5 seafood dishes.
Okay.
So you know, I like
you want
that.
me to go first and just go 5 to 1?
Yeah, we go back and forth if you want. For me, number 5 is your mom's shrimp scampi.
I'll just do shrimp as number 5. That's what I was gonna do.
Well, no, I want. Oh, well, we're gonna pick just the 5 kind. That's different. But I like
You
shrimp.
can do
All right.
dishes. I'm just gonna do the foods.
Okay, shrimp scampi. You say shrimp. Number 4 for me is a nice prepared grilled. It could be pan fried, but you got to get the right places. The scallops.
I'm gonna go with mussels number 4, but they gotta be good. Like Joe's Crab Shack, Angry Mussels,
Yeah.
and none of those mussels Rockefeller bullshit, which are just bull nuts.
The oyster rock.
Real
yeah.
mussels.
No, so I like for me
Oyster Rockefeller.
Number 3 would be the mussels that we get at the Ford's Fish Shack with the garlic bread and all that. What do you got?
Number 3 for me would have to be a good salmon.
Good salmon. Okay. So number 1 for me is got to be lobster.
Well, you're at number 2 now.
Well, number 2 for me is lobster. Number 2 is lobster,
All right, so my number 2 is also lobster.
and my number 1 is
Oh, wow.
good Alaskan king crab legs.
Yeah.
And an honorable mention for me is a nice cup of New England clam chowder.
Oh, if we're doing that, I like a good lobster bisque or a good
You would take a bisque over a chowder?
yeah, lobster bisque, or a good fried calamari.
Yeah, I'm not a calamari fan.
And I didn't even include sushi because I consider
Yeah, that's
sushi
different.
a specialized version
Yeah.
of seafood.
All right, next one. Top 5 meat dishes.
Number 5, because I'm gonna stick with cuts, I'm gonna go with a T-bone steak.
Okay, my number 5 is a good mix of beef and chicken kebab.
Beef and chicken kebab.
Yeah.
Okay. My number 4 would be a good, like medium rare hamburger.
Okay.
Good lean chuck or ground beef.
Yeah, you know what? I'll take that as number 4 too. A nice, good bacon cheeseburger.
Number 3, I'd have to do a really good ribeye. You
Okay.
know, like Sweetwater's drunken
Yeah,
ribeye.
yeah. For me, my number 3 is a surf and turf, which would be a lobster tail and a steak.
I know, but you're kind of transcending both top 5 lists.
Oh, I can't do that. Okay, all right, then I'll take a nice.
Steak salad, steak tartare,
No.
Steak frites.
Because my number 1 is a nice fillet and
Beef
and then
Wellington.
and then a ribeye.
I
But
made a beef Wellington. That shit fucking sucked. That mushroom binding
Yeah.
is disgusting. All right, well, let me say my last two, and then you can figure out yours.
Well, my number 3 is a good Philly cheesesteak from Philadelphia, the ones I've had there. Philadelphia. Yeah.
I almost went to testify against that kid in my frat solely to try an authentic Philly cheesesteak.
Well, there's 2 different kinds they have up there.
So I've never had one
and-
from in Philly.
No, I got one at the airport, and the guys used to bring them back for me, and then I would get them whenever I traveled out there. But one of them has the cheese whiz, and one of them has.
I wouldn't do the cheese.
And one of them has cheese in there.
It would have to be the cheese.
Yeah,
one.
and then they have.
I know they love the
they
cheese
have,
whiz up there.
They have what's it called? Broccoli? No, it's not broccoli. Broccoli.
Broccolini.
Yeah, but it's called broccoli or something. They cook it down and they put it on there. It's actually pretty good.
If
And then what's your number? My number 2 is a good ribeye,
my number 2 is filet mignon.
and my number 1 is a good filet mignon.
My number 1 is Japanese A5 Wagyu.
I haven't had that. You didn't put a tomahawk on there.
What did I say is number 5? I think I said tomahawk was number 5.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay, then you're fine. All right, what's your book?
We were going to talk about how we don't understand how people are adverse to trying seafood, or the people whose palates are going out to restaurants and getting chicken fingers,
Yeah.
no matter where they go.
Well, you gotta stretch yourself. It doesn't matter where.
Right,
you
like
go.
there are some things I won't try. I probably won't try dick, because people eat penises in Asia. I'd try sea urchin if it's
That's
prepared
fine.
and I'm reassured it won't
Don't
kill
eat
me.
Rocky Mountain oysters.
I'm not doing bull testicles. I'm not the liver
Or
king.
sheep testicles.
Any testicles. I know that high in protein.
I'm not a big liver
But
fan
listen, if
unless
you're
it's
going-
liverwurst.
If you're going for high protein and you're like, oh, I gotta eat the bull testicles, just eat liver at that point.
Yeah, just eat liver.
And what's up with eating the dicks and the bull testicles unless you're trying to have shock value on the internet and pretend like you don't do steroids?
Hey, what's your favorite soup?
If I had to pick one soup, just a soup, nothing to pair with, because if I could pair it, it'd be tomato
Oh.
soup and grilled cheese.
One soup.
One soup,
For me, it's a French onion soup.
I can't. No. Chicken noodles too basic.
And number 2
I
would
would
be
say-
tomato.
You know, I would have to go with either a great lobster bisque or like a crab bisque, like a lobster bisque, or I've had this one really good miso soup.
I like
But
your
miso soup isn't really much but broth.
I like your stepmom Liz's beef stew. That's really good.
Like I guess I'd go with lobster bisque because it's more
Yeah,
sustenance.
provided it's chunks of lobster and not crab. Because a lot of these dumbasses put crab
It'd
in
be
there.
cool to see like miso soup with pork in it instead of tofu. You know,
Yeah.
because
You
I
know
always
what's
take
really
the
good?
tofu cubes out.
Yeah. You know what's really good, and you can only get it in Delmarva, the Virginia, Baltimore area,
That's DMV.
is the DMV, but the Delmarva is the coast. Is the mishi crab?
Mishi?
Yeah, or the shishi crab,
Never
whatever.
heard of it.
It's crab soup, like lobster bisque, but it's with crab. It's really good.
I like
Your
to
mom
try
loves that.
some blue lobster or blue crabs from like Maine.
Just, yeah, that's okay. You should try a
I've-
soft shell.
You know, it's funny. I was making fun of people who won't try new things, but I haven't tried soft shell yet because I've always been kind of off put by eating right out of the head. 'Cause you can eat the head of soft shell.
You eat the whole
crab,
thing.
right? Oh no. That's
Well,
kinda
deep
weird.
fry it. It can't be that bad. You don't taste the shell.
Okay.
We'll try it next time we get a shot at it.
What-
All right, what's your book
So
of the
how
week?
do they survive if they're soft?
I have no idea. I'm not a mollusk expert. I think they're in a different
Are
area.
they a mollusk or an arthropod? They're not an arthropod.
Arthropod, whatever they are.
Crustacean?
Crustacean. All right, where are you on your book of the week? I got a book. It's called A Crusade, so it just gives you
I don't have a
historical
book.
context of the Crusades.
I don't have a book, so talk about that.
What was the last book you read?
The last book I read was an instruction booklet.
Okay, well there you go. All right, what's your movie?
My movie is Dewey Cox, or no, Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story
Yep, it's
with John C. Reilly.
it's
who's
a
the cast
satire to
member.
the Johnny Cash movie, right?
Johnny Cash, Whitney Houston, the guy who went blind, was that Ray Charles?
Oh, I've never seen it. So mine is
Elvis.
Conan the Barbarian, released in 1982 with Schwarzenegger.
It's a perfect movie for him because he doesn't have to talk that
Yeah.
much.
You know, I think that was his third movie. It might have been his fourth. He had a bit part in, well, he did Pumping Iron, of course. And then I thought he was in...
Isn't Pumping Iron a documentary?
Yeah, but he's still actor in it. And then they did, his first acting role was, I think he had a bit part in Blazing Saddles.
Arnold Schwarzenegger was not in Blazing
He
Saddles.
wasn't in Blazing Saddles?
No.
He had a bit part
Bro,
somewhere.
Blazing Saddles was like the 60s.
No, it was in the 70s. Mid-70s, early mid-70s. I swear he was in a blue polyester suit. I'll have to double check.
So he was in like a blue jean jacket and pants when he would fight like 4 people at once in like a back alleyway.
Yeah, that was a different movie.
He was a kindergarten cop or
Yeah,
whatever.
but I like Conan the Barbarian. But I will tell you, in 1981, before Conan came out, there was a series. My little brother, your uncle, and I used to watch it all the time. Mark Singer was the actor. It was called The Beastmaster. And this was a guy, it was set in the same time period, fighting an evil priest. But this guy had a special gift, and they tried to kill him when he was a kid, and he was raised by somebody else, just like Conan, right? But different story. But he's the Beastmaster. He can talk to beasts.
You know what that
Hold on. And there was a nude scene in there with one of Charlie's Angels, Tanya Roberts.
So you were a little perv.
Yeah, she had a raspy voice, and that's what your mom reminded me of when I first started dating her. She had the same kind of voice. So, but she wanted a big-titted redhead.
Great.
So, all right, that was Beastmaster and Tanya Roberts.
Completely took the wind out of my sails with that.
All right, who's your bitch of the week? Mine is the new senator, junior Democratic senator from California. I think it's is it Cuero?
How the fuck would I know?
Whatever the guy was that walked up on Secretary Nome and the FBI and the Secret Service, put him on the ground and hooked him up.
You tried to walk up to Chrissy Nome and they dropped
Well,
him?
she's doing a press conference in L.A. on the riots, and he just
In the
walked in and
street?
says, "I'm this, and I want to know this, and I'm the senator," but he didn't have any identification, and he just walked in. No, it was inside
He
the
made a
press
beeline
conference.
towards her? Of course they're going to take him
Yeah.
to the ground.
No, they took him out of the room, put him down, cuffed him, and she talked to him later. You know, and then he had a couple more
The
Democratic
gall.
representatives
The
arrested.
audacity.
Remember that ICE facility where that lady was? Oh, she was indicted. That representative on 3 charges for incitement.
I keep seeing those Obama speeches
They
where
broke
he
out of
talks
that
about deporting people.
Yeah. Well, they broke out of that. They had 4 or 5 illegals break out of that, and then they had representatives there trying to go in again, and they're like, "You would need to call and make an appointment, and you come by anytime you want. You just can't show up."
This is Louisiana all over again.
It's terrible.
I saw people protesting
So he's my
outside
bitch of the week.
outside of the entrance to one of the centers, and they stayed overnight, and in the morning locked arms in front of the gate. And they all got arrested.
Good. You know what I find really bad though, and this is how dangerous this shit's getting, because of these dumbasses when they start corresponding. Go, there's an ICE raid, and they all show up. They had shit go down in Minnesota, Chicago, and somewhere else, where the ATF, the DEA, and the Bureau are making raids. They got one last night where they took something like, I don't know, 20 pounds of methamphetamine in pills, like 20 pounds of coke, a whole bunch of fentanyl, a whole bunch of weed, a bunch of guns, and a bunch of money. Because it was a drug raid.
The 3 major food groups.
And they were all, the mob was like gathering around the place where they're going to raid. These people are going to get themselves killed, man.
They're stupid.
Just idiots.
Well, my bitch of the week is Netanyahu, because the day after he launched those strikes on Iran, he got on a plane and fled to Cyprus.
No, he
Yeah,
didn't.
he did. You didn't see that?
He's not in his own country?
No, he fled Israel yesterday.
Well, I got to double check that. But if Zelensky didn't leave, nah, you sure?
That's what I saw.
I'll double check. I can't believe he would do that.
That's what I saw.
Well, then he would own it. But if he didn't do that, you got to apologize. All right, so we're about 50 minutes in, or 48 minutes in. Is there anything else we missed, or any predictions about the race? I think McLaren goes 1-2.
Okay. That's a safe bet. That's probably like a minus 200 bet on FanDuel.
Yeah, and I think
That's how fucked up this season
I
is.
think Max comes no better than 4.
No. It's crazy how the favorite is McLaren 1-2 on the betting apps nowadays.
It's the
For a
car,
finish.
man.
Yeah.
Listen, I honestly believe, I still think Max is like, let's say Max is a 98 out of 100 on power scoring, right?
Sure.
I think the next grouping is Piastri. I think hold on. Piastri, the bottom of it, but I think Norris is in there. I think Leclerc is in there. I think George Russell is in there. And Piastri.
Why not Hamilton?
Hamilton's not a top tier driver anymore.
He's better than Leclerc.
No,
In the same car.
No, he's not.
He has been placed better than Leclerc.
No, he's not. Look,
Okay.
he's on his way down. Leclerc's on his way up.
Yeah.
And then there'll be somebody else. I don't think, if you could take that Antonelli kid or Hamilton right now, today, and go forward 2, 3 years, 4 years with him, who would you take?
Well, are we doing 2 years or 4 years?
2 years, I'd still take the kid.
I take Hamilton.
Hamilton's going to burn out like
You know how much more
Verstappen.
money? Well, 2 years.
Not Verstappen, like Vettel.
Well, 2 years.
Hamilton's a lot like Vettel.
You know how much money Red Bull made with, or Ferrari made with Vettel at the end?
Yeah, but he still couldn't do anything.
So, you should tell mine.
Oh, I know.
Ferrari was never going to win the Drivers' Championship.
No, I got it. You hang around, you make your money. I'm cool with that. But he's got no future. So, all right, that's it. 6 months in.
It's
all
been
right.
6 months.
26 episodes. That's 6 months, right? 52 weeks in a year.
How many more? Do we have to do another 6
We're
months?
gonna see if we can roll it out. Now we got to pick up some more stuff, get a little more viral, so we get more than 10,000
We're gonna-
views a week.
We're going to reassess in episode 30. Because if we're still getting 5 views, you got to figure something out.
No, we're gonna
Start
fix that.
showing your asshole or something.
We're gonna fix that this week. Now remember, we have that thing with that one university where they're gonna help us publish the book and do our marketing campaign for us.
Okay.
We'll see how that goes in the fall. But all right, thanks everybody. See you next week. All right, let's get you home so you can go watch.
Disclaimer for Generations Unplugged with Big Kel and Kahuna. This is a podcast created for informational and entertainment purposes only. The views expressed in this podcast reflect the personal experiences and opinions of the hosts and guests. Topics like health, fitness, financial well-being, and personal development are discussed based on individual perspectives and are not intended as professional medical, financial, or psychological advice. Listeners are encouraged to consult with qualified professionals before making decisions related to health, lifestyle, or finances. Each person's journey is unique, and results may vary. The creators of Generations Unplugged disclaim any liability for actions taken based on the content of this podcast. Remember, informed decisions and expert guidance are key to building a fulfilling and balanced life.